reports, Netflix did consider delaying the launch, but they've opted to go ahead. The question we're asking is whether it is insensitive to air the series now. We're joined by broadcaster and historian Dr. Tessa Dunlop, who says The Crown is fiction and to suppress art would be undemocratic. And also...
Oh, sorry, carry on. No,
we have Lady Victoria Hervey, who says it is too soon after the death of the Queen to show The Crown. Good morning to both of you.
Morning.
Thank you for coming in. If we could start with you, Victoria. I think that my appreciation, understanding of the royal family and what the family have been through, having watched The Crown, changed dramatically because I saw all sorts of things that I didn't know about when Prince Charles, now King Charles, had to go to university, what happened to him at school. And it really changed my understanding of the sort of the pressures and the reality of their lives as royals. Right. Will that not offer the same thing for this series as well, a better understanding of what they have to go through?
I mean, possibly, but, you know, Netflix say that it's fiction, right? And it's not reality. And that's like the whole argument that, you know, with this new series, oh, well, you know, it's not real life. But a lot of people watching it actually see it as a documentary and they don't see it as fiction. It's a bit like a lot of articles that you read in newspapers. It's like, it's loosely, the kind of outside story is real, but the inside is all kind of made up. And I think that's what they're going to be doing with this. They're going to just be playing on it. And Netflix, I think it is insensitive. I think it is a little bit too soon. You know, the Queen's death was only a month ago. And especially with the coronation coming up and Camilla and, you know, everyone is really accepting her in her role right now. And I think it's going to try and paint her in a negative light.
I mean, you could understand why Camilla, particularly, the new Queen Consort, might be thinking, why dredge that up when time has moved on? And also, we understand, none of us have seen it, that it doesn't paint the new king in a particularly good light.
No, well, divorces, separations are a messy business. But this is just historical drama. It isn't newspapers. Newspapers masquerade and pretend they tell us the truth. You know, actually, Netflix has never pretended that this is anything but fiction. Yes, it walks the line. But yes, sometimes I agree it's not particularly tasteful. I preferred the earlier series. But I think to even countenance the idea of crushing it or postponing it is extraordinary. How much more reverence do our royal family need? The Queen, understandably, had an extraordinary send-off. We gave her more than 10 days of mourning when virtually not one word of criticism was said about every human is flawed. And how long will this go on for? And actually, we're not talking about the Queen, are we? We're talking about Charles, you know, who's got all the extraordinary props of monarchy to help him in his new role. And if there's a little bit of art that's uncomfortable, so be it.
Yeah. But they do. You say that they never pretend it's anything other than fiction. I'm not sure that's true.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people see it as, you know, maybe we know it's fiction, but especially maybe foreigners, just say in America, I mean, they literally watch The Crown like the Bible. Like, they believe that everything that is in there is absolutely factual.
But you can't have it both ways, Victoria. One of the reasons why the world, in some respects, certainly a large part of the world that we, Britain, would like to have on the edge of their seats, were on the edge of their seats during the Queen's funeral and period of mourning. And that was partly because of The Crown, which took our royal family narrative, yes, invented with tinsel, tiaras and lots of poetic licence, to a whole new audience. And in many respects, that's a boon to the British brand and what's good for Britain.
I mean, I think Netflix, that's probably one of the reasons why they don't want to delay it, because it is coming on the back of the Queen's funeral, which, you know, obviously the whole world has been watching. And so probably, I imagine, the viewers are going to be probably the largest that they've ever had.
You know the royal family, of course, Victoria. Do they watch? Do you know if they watch and have watched previous series?
I think some of them dip in and out and... You know, I don't know if they've watched all the series, but I know definitely, like, some of them have watched it.
But there
I think Harry, in an interview with James Corden, said that,
every
little bit of detail isn't necessarily correct.
Right.
I think some of the... he recognises some of the processes and themes.
The other thing that's worth bearing in mind is the Queen was the most photographed woman in the world, and if you look at her back history, she began life, even before she became heir to the throne, in a goldfish bowl. They have a certain... I'm not saying that's right or correct, but it is what it is in a 24/7 media world when you're in a gilded cage. You have to take the good with the bad. Charles has got a pretty wicked gig, aged nearly 74. You know, I wouldn't mind being Queen or King. I mean,
you?
no, I really wouldn't. I think that would be a soft power, lots of dressing up. You know, yeah, I'll take that on, and if you want to put me in a drama...
Victoria, is it as easy as that, a bit of soft power and dressing up?
I think it's probably a lot more than that. But, interestingly enough, I just actually rewatched the first series, the very beginning of the first Crown, because it shows, you know, when the Queen got the news about her father passing away. And that, it actually... It seemed very much... It was going, you know, everything was as it has been in history, what happened with our father, you know, I didn't actually know all the things about how he had one lung removed and then all of that. That was, you know, really interesting. It was interesting to sort of, like, re-watch it, you know.
But you see, that's partly because it's not in our living memory for many of us. I've got a book coming out next month. Maybe I should postpone it if it's not respectful, but it's about that early period, Elizabeth and Philip. Why it's uncomfortable is because many of the players in this recent period, in the 1990s, you know, are still very much alive. It's all in living memory for us. And also, it was a very unfortunate decade for family monarchy. They're pinned up, aren't they, as the ideal family.
What, 3 divorces, you know, same year. Like, so obviously, this is probably, as far as, like, for the royal family, this is probably the worst series because it's really sort of exposing the most negative aspects.
Emotional trauma.
Well, the Queen said Annus Horribilis, didn't she, about that very period?
Do you think that if the Queen had not died, do you think that they would be bringing this out now?
Yeah, absolutely.
If she'd been alive?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I mean, they were making it.
They've made it.
They haven't stopped bringing out all the other series.
I thought you actually cut them too much slack at the beginning.
No, I know,
but... They thought about... I don't think they thought about postponing this. Netflix, no, not for a minute. They gave one day, I think, during the period of mourning and one day off for the funeral, and that was it. 800 times the number of people were downloading The Crown during that week of mourning.
No, I think this will be the biggest series. I'm sure, like, the most viewers they've probably ever had will be on this series.
They're laughing all the way to the bank.
Well, good to speak to both of you.